Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have with us today two special guests. Carmen is with me, and our other hosts will jump in here in a couple segments. But right now, we needed to make room for Kathleen and Warren Behan. And they are with the Western North Dakota Honor Flights. Honor Flights take veterans, U.S. veterans, military veterans, to the U.S. Capitol to see some of the memorials there, and they actually charter a plane and take about 100 at a time, right?
Yes.
Well, Kathleen, you're the president. She started it here in Western North Dakota, or the western part of the country here in the state. Tell us about it.
Well, I helped on a flight that was called the Native American flight that flew out in 18. It was the only time, they did only one flight. And our auxiliary was asked to help with the reception. So we did that. And when the veterans came back, the airport was just filled with people. And there was, we handed out flags, and there were all these smiling faces, and just, it was just awesome. And then when the veterans came down the stairs, coming back from their flight, they saw all of this, and they had tears running down their faces. And I just thought, oh, we got to do more of these. And then in the fall of 2019, Jane Matichek from the Fargo Hub did a presentation here at the Senior Center. And we went to that. And I talked to her afterwards, and I said, I want to do this, but I really do not have a clue how to do this. And she said, well, we'll help you. And I thought, yeah, sure, Well, the next day I got calls from her and Beth Foley, and I must have been on the phone for a couple hours with each of them. And they have both been very supportive. So we organized, and we got it rolling. February of 2020, we made our announcement that we're here, and then COVID hit. So we have really been struggling with financing, but we're slowly getting there, and we hope to have a flight this fall.
Okay, fall of 2021.
Yes.
And you rely on donations because you take 100 vets at a time, right? And you charter a plane, and you pay all the expenses. And it is for, right now you're currently serving veterans from World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and anybody who's terminally ill and has served in the military.
Yes.
And a flight and all the expenses, the whole trip costs about $100,000, am I correct?
$160,000.
$160, and look at this, isn't that cute? So is this like part of the welcoming committee?
This was part of the, it could have been either the welcoming committee or when they took off. It was either departure or arrival.
Can you talk about that? When you have a flight, and we're going to assume that it's going to happen, we're going to think positive, does the veteran, how do they get to be a part of it? What's the procedure?
Well, we have a website, and a lot of it is word of mouth. Our veteran service organizations know about us, so they help push the word out. But there's an application process. It's a 4-page application.
And here's the website. You can go to Western ND HF, so it stands for North Dakota honorflight.org. And you can get information on how to apply if you want to be a part of this. And if you want to give a donation, they will be very happy. A lot of times there's corporate donors. This is how you can get a hold of them. As a matter of fact, Kathleen, you were telling me before the show that you've received some nice donations. Do you want to mention a couple of the places?
We have received some donation. We got $4,800 from Williston, and we also received, I think it was $15,000 from MDU Resources. Last year we received $10,000 from the Mohall Vets Club.
Okay.
So we've gotten
Wow.
some. Right now we're at about $60,000, but we've got a ways
So
to
do
go yet.
most of the veterans organizations know about you and that you are fundraising at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's great. And so then, let's say a veteran wants to apply, so they go to the website, they get their application, and chances are it's a spouse or it's a family member that may help them, depending on everything. But then, can somebody just go with them, or how does that piece work?
Yes, they can have escorts go with them if they desire.
Okay.
An escort, we prefer that it be someone of a younger generation, simply because they want to be able to share that experience
Oh,
with the younger
nice.
generation.
Yeah,
And,
Sure.
in rare circumstances, we do allow the spouses to come as an escort, but it's very rare, and we're trying to change that. Especially,
And I want to make the point that the escorts pay their own way. Is that correct?
the escort fee is $1,100.
Right. And so they pay their own way, and so nobody thinks someone's getting a free ride, but they're there to be a part of this experience and to maybe help
Yes,
the actual veteran.
and if they would choose
Oh, there's Governor Burgum.
a spouse perhaps would choose to be there, they could meet us in DC. They'd have to pay their own transportation and lodging,
And look at this.
but they would meet us in DC, and we would charge a $250 fee, and that would include the banquet and the tour buses and all the tours and everything.
That's great. Yeah.
And it looks like it's a fun flight. We had that picture up just a second ago of a full flight of veterans on the plane. Do you guys sing together? And I bet it's a fun time.
We have a lot of entertainment. The flight attendants are great.
I bet they have a lot of fun.
They are.
And so I should warn, you're not just here as window dressing. You've actually gone on a flight, and we're gonna take a break. And then when we come back, I want to hear how you served our country and what was it like when you actually went on an honor flight. And I want to tell our viewers to connect with us via social media. We have Facebook pages, Instagram, TikTok. I think we're everywhere. If you do social media, you can find us, Ladies of Another View. And we'll be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Heroes and Icons is now Cozy TV. Don't worry, you'll still get your favorite Beck News programming without changing the channel. Real people, real news, Beck News.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, It's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after a fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. We have with us today Kathleen and Warren Behan, and Kathleen is the president of the Western North Dakota Honor Flights, but they cover all of North Dakota because there's a Fargo hub too. So if you are a veteran of World War II, the Vietnam War, or the Korean War, or if you have a terminal illness, you qualify to apply to be on one of these honor flights where they take you, about 100 veterans all together, to see some of the Washington monuments and on a tour, some of the other sites, I assume, and everything is paid for. So if you are not a veteran and you want to support them, think about donating for this flight too. I want to talk to you, Warren, about your service. Tell us, you served in the Navy, and tell us what you did.
I was an aircraft mechanic, and I was in a test outfit. What we did is we tested aircraft for service in Vietnam, and we would go aboard ship about twice a year to check to make sure the aircraft were able to land and take off from an aircraft carrier. So it kind of neat.
And where were you stationed?
I was stationed in Patuxent River, Maryland. It's 70 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So.
And you actually enlisted because during those years people were being drafted, right?
Yes.
And you enlisted to serve the country.
Yes, I did.
Were you right out of high school?
No, I was just about 20 when I decided that I needed to see the world.
Okay, so you got you to Maryland.
Yeah,
But when I talked to the recruiter, he forgot to tell me that I would see the world from the flight deck of an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, not from beaches and hotel rooms, right?
Do you ever have a chance to get together with any of your Navy buddies then? Have reunions?
Yes, I did. But it's been a few years since I did. I was in touch with about a half a dozen of the guys that were in my outfit, and we just over the years drifted apart.
Yeah.
And it's been 50 years since I got out of the Navy, so it's something that I would recommend to any young man, not specifically the Navy, but any branch of the service. we have a grandson that spent 3 years in Germany and a year in Africa in the Army.
Wow.
And
so he did get to see the world.
Yeah.
Right. And you went on one of the honor flights in 2019.
Yes, I
Can you
did.
tell us what that was like?
Oh, I'll tell you what. I was stationed in Maryland, 70 miles south of Washington, D.C., and about twice a month I would go up to D.C. and I would look at everything. And our youngest son, when I told him I was going to go on this flight, he said, "Dad, you were there, you've seen everything." And I said, "Jason, I didn't." And it's been 50 years, and they sure changed a lot of things, added a lot of things. And when we were there, I was just impressed, really impressed with everything, with what they did for us and where we went. And we got to see the changing of the guard at Tomb of the Unknown. And we went to the Library of Congress, and it's just amazing. Just amazing.
What was it like for you to see the Vietnam Memorial?
Oh, I walked up and down that memorial, and I just rubbed my hands on it because I did lose some friends in Vietnam. And it's, I'll tell you what, it's kind of tough. Yeah. I would recommend it to anyone.
Well, I remind, a lot of people don't remember or they don't know that it was a difficult time in our country then, because people were conflicted about the Vietnam War. There was a lot of protests, and so a lot of people that served weren't appreciated at the time. So it's wonderful that they can be appreciated more now and honored in this way.
Yes. When I mustered out of the Navy, they told me when I went home, do not wear your uniform because
That's so sad.
of the attitude of the young people. And so I didn't. And that actually hurt. It did.
And that's one of the reasons I love seeing this flight, because it's like, and the things that have gone on just within the last, I'd say, 5 years, to start to honor you all that were in that time and you served your country, whether you were drafted or not, you still served your country, and you didn't get to make up the rules. You were there and you did as you were told, you know, and I just think that's so amazing and so healing now, what's going on. But I just wanted to say too that if people want to get on the flight, is it too early to start application? Because you're planning one in the fall, you hopefully, if they make the application and some reason COVID and everything, it doesn't work out, you'll keep it on file, I would assume?
Yes, we have about 150 veterans right now that have applied.
Oh, okay.
And only about 100, though, are able to go.
Yes.
Does that mean, is it possible if you had more donations that you could have more flights?
If we had, yeah, if we had.
I know more work.
Our Fargo hub was planning on doing 5 flights.
Oh, wow.
Before COVID hit.
Well, I was wondering
1 year.
too, because I know that you're scheduled to be part of Giving Hearts Day, and that's coming up, what, February 11th? Do you have anybody that's doing matching funds with you, or is it strictly whatever's contributed, there's no matching funds for it?
Correct.
Okay, okay. So on February 11th, anybody that's thinking about donating for Giving Hearts, I mean, what a worthy cause. You know, there's so many charities, I think there's 500 of them to pick from, but I really hope people will give serious consideration to this, because some of these vets won't be around forever, you know, and what a gift we can give back to fund flights.
Yes,
So,
thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for coming on. And yes, you have something else? We have like 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm 75 years old. I was one of the younger people on that flight.
Right.
Wow,
Right.
just a young 75.
One of the most statements that had the most impact on me was when they came home. One veteran saw the reception and everything, and he said, "We never got this when we came home before."
Oh, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Is now, you know, for some of the people, you can experience that appreciation now. We have to go. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I encourage people to support and go to their website. And we will be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
Everybody needs an off season, but our announcers have a tough time slowing down.
Hey, do you mind if I practice a little bit? Right, I don't really think that. Johnson holds, shoots, he scores!
Incredible! For the second time today, Brent has jammed the printer.
Lowry's third caramel roll of the day. That's a bold move.
And he drains one. Blind squirrel finds a nut. And back to normal.
Beck News brings you real people and real news. Every weekday on KNDB, KNDM, and KRDK. Start your evening with the Dr. Duke Show at 4. Take a fresh look at current events with Ladies of Another View at 4:30. Go down the road with Joel at 5:30. Watch No Apologies with Becker at 9. Cap off your night with No Filter with Debbie at 10. Beck News. Real people, real news.
The professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Hi, welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have a very special guest with us via Zoom, Dr. Thomas Hilgers. And right before the show, I said, you are going to come on another time because we're not going to be able to touch on everything, but we're going to do our best. He just recently published a book, and it's called The Fake and Deceptive Science Behind Roe v. Wade. First of all, let's welcome Dr. Hilgers. And here's his book. He wrote part of the amicus brief with the medical information for the case Roe v. Wade that decided that abortion was legal in this country. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hilgers.
It's great to be here with you all. Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, I want
Yeah.
to pause a minute because I just learned a couple days ago that there's going to be a healing class given in Bismarck for post-abortive women. I want to be very careful because we're pro-life, we're against abortion, but we are not anti any woman, and we just embrace everybody. And that it's a tough world out there. A lot of times, here we go. Here's information. I'm sorry I don't know more information about it. We just came across this and we were trying to call and get information, but you see the phone numbers. And what I'll do is I'll put that up again later in the show. If you don't have a pen with you right now, you can grab one and check that out. So Dr. Hilgers, you have been in the pro-life fight for a long time. Tell us about your involvement in the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court case.
Well,
where to begin?
Like that.
yeah, you're right. I've been involved a long, long time, actually, before Roe v. Wade. And so when I was in my residency in obstetrics and gynecology, I took one rotation at Cook County Hospital in Chicago. And I was there for about 6 months. And during that time, I had already written one book on abortion. And I was putting together another one called Abortion and Social Justice. And I was in my third year, I think, of my residency. And I got to know people in Chicago who were involved in pro-life. Dennis Horan, a constitutional attorney, and we got together and they were working actually on the amicus brief, and they needed somebody to help them with some of the medical parts of it all. And I was happy to do that, and I was really honored, really, to be a participant. However, I was very disappointed, of course, when the court's decision came out, because they pretty much just distanced themselves from anything that was provided to them. It was really sad, except unless it was provided to them by people who were pro-abortion. Roe v. Wade was pro-abortion from the beginning, and that's why it contained so many lies, really. And they painted a picture that they wanted to paint. They wanted to paint a picture where everybody thought that abortion would be just great, and it's really too bad. That was 1973, I guess. So, but I've been involved ever since. This is the first book I've written since then. I wrote another book called New Perspectives on Human Abortion in the early 1980s, but I haven't written anything since then because I've been involved in other research and writing relative to our work in the Creighton model system and nanotechnology. But I've been wanting to write this book here on the fake and deceptive science for a long time. It's been on my list of things to do, but I didn't have full documentation of everything that I wanted to say, but I knew to be true, but I just couldn't just say it. In the last couple of years, there have been a few good books that have come out that have really documented some of the things that I could rely upon and could put this whole picture together. We knew that they lied. We knew that they put together a decision that they knew actually was false. But that's part of who these people are, unfortunately, and it's something that we're going to have to we have to reckon with, because it's a very difficult process to deal with people who aren't forthright with you and aren't honest with you, and who put things together just to win a point, or a big point, I guess, in this case.
So
that's how it started.
I actually read your book, and I did a book review on it, and there's two things that struck me, and I see that it's up on your website, and I'll refer people to your website right now. If you go to DR for doctor, drhilgers.com, and if you want to know more about the NAPRO and the study of human reproduction, that is just amazing. A lot of people don't know the technology that is helping infertile couples to have children. You can go to the Pope Paul VI for the 6th, PopePaul6.com, or you can go to drhilgers.com to learn more about this. Getting back to your book, there were two things. We talked about the lies and the fake science. Let's talk about the lies. Dr. Bernard Nathanson had one of the largest abortion operations in New York City at the time, and he, together with two other men that were very pro-abortion, actually sat and made up lies. Now, Dr. Nathanson became pro-life later on, and he said, we just were pulling stuff out of the hat and making things up. And that is partly what the decision was based on. What are some of the lies they told?
Well, Dr. Nathanson was important in what we were doing because he documented that they said, for example, that in the decision, in the amicus brief that led to the decision, they said that 5,000 to 10,000 women a year die of illegal abortion, or what is often referred to as coat hanger abortion. And that's a lie that's repeated to this day, unfortunately. And so there weren't 5,000 to 10,000 women a year that died. There's pretty good evidence and data on this sort of thing in National Center for Health Statistics and that sort of thing. And there were less than 50 now. One is too many, but the 50 represent abortion of all causes, which also includes miscarriages, which are not induced abortions, and other things that are related to miscarrying a pregnancy, for example. So even less than 50 by quite a margin it was actually, and yet they said that it was 5,000 or 10,000. In fact, Chelsea Clinton, within the last couple of years, was quoted in newspapers as repeating that statistic. And it got into the lexicon of the American public that, and that's what they're saying now. If we make abortion illegal, then everybody's going to have illegal abortions again, and that's just not the case. And so we ended up with a lie that we've had to deal with now for all these years, and frankly, nobody had a way of completely verifying it except somebody like Dr. Nathanson, who unfortunately was also a part of this group of 3 people who literally changed the whole scope of abortion in the United States in 8 years from the beginning of their work together, and that included Lawrence Lader, who was a freelance journalist. Basically, he was not a scientist or a physician or a philosopher or theologian, although he came across as if he was. And they quoted him in Roe v. Wade 8 separate times, and that's the most citations of any one source for Roe v. Wade was Lawrence Lader. The other one was Cyril Means, who was a law professor at the time in New York, and he got involved a little bit after Nathanson and later. And he was the one who, in fact, all 3 of them ended up promoting that life does not begin at conception. It's related to a new theory, which isn't actually a new theory at all. It's not. It's just an old lie. And this all started in the mid-50s, and as far back as I could trace it anyway. And
okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the medieval science that they used to make this decision. So we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy folks, it's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the County Line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Beck News brings you real people and real news. Every weekday on KNDB, KNDM, and KRDK. Start your evening with the Dr. Duke Show at 4. Take a fresh look at current events with Ladies of Another View at 4:30. Go down the road with Joel at 5:30. Watch No Apologies with Becker at 9. Cap off your night with No Filter with Debbie at 10. Beck News. Real people, real news.
Hi, welcome back to Ladies of Another View. We are going to continue our discussion with Dr. Thomas Hilgers, and he was one of the physicians that helped write the amicus brief for pro-life arguing against abortion in the Roe v. Wade case. He also founded the Pope Paul VI Institute for the study of human reproduction. But let's get back to the Supreme Court case. And in your book, on the fake science, the fake and deceptive science behind Roe v. Wade. Very good book, excellent. I read it from cover to cover and it's highlighted and dog-eared throughout. You mentioned and explained that they used medieval science to say that life beginning at conception was just a theory, even though at the time the consensus was that that was when life began. Is that correct?
Yes, it was the consensus, but they ignored the consensus and tried to say or make the argument that the consensus was that life began like billions of years ago. And they got everybody confused because they were talking about the beginning, theoretically, they were talking about the beginning of an individual life, but they really weren't. They were just talking about life in general. And I don't know that anybody knows for sure when all that began, but as far as an individual human person is concerned, it starts at conception when the egg and the sperm unite. I should probably start this off by saying that there's 400 years before Roe of solid transformation of our understanding of what was happening in pregnancy. And their pregnancy-related science, their reliance on that, goes back to, at the earliest, about the middle of the 13th century. And that was when they were quoting Thomas Aquinas. And then it actually goes all the way back to Hippocrates, who lived in like 400 BC, 450 BC, something like that. And it all sounded very academic and all, for people who don't read a lot of this stuff, it all sounded legit, but it was not legit. I mean, all of these people had different views about things, but they weren't very solid and they weren't based on good science at all. And it's a really sad situation how this happened, but it was done on purpose and they knew what they were doing. And now 60 plus million abortions later, we're feeling the effect of it, not just in terms of the abortions, but what it's done to relationships, to human relationships.
I'm sorry.
That's
When you
okay.
say they knew what they were doing, are you talking about the Supreme Court justices, or are you talking about the people who were testifying for abortion, or what are you saying? Who's
No,
they?
I'm taught, well, it's several different people, the three people that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
But they weren't front and center with this, except to say that they kind of lobbied the Supreme Court. The people I'm really talking about are Justice Blackmun and his law clerk, who probably wrote a lot of it because Blackmun apparently was not a very good writer, and when he first put together the court opinion, it was rejected by the court, not because they didn't like the theory, they just didn't like how he wrote it. So he had to start all over again, and the other person, another group that's really involved in all of this is the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. They had a group, they had an amicus brief from the American College of OBGYN, which incidentally is one of the most pro-abortion groups in the country. And you'd think it wouldn't be, but it is, and it has promoted abortion, it's promoted things related to abortion, in vitro fertilization, all of these things. And they knew that if they were to cite the American College of OBGYN, that it would be very believable, because this is, after all, an organization that represents the profession of obstetrics and gynecology.
Dr. Hilgers?
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a long time. It's been almost 50 years and 66 million at least abortions. I'm guessing you had less gray hair and a lot more of it when you started this fight.
Yeah.
What do you see the future? Are you hopeful that that this decision could ever be overturned?
Well, let me start by answering by saying that it has to be overturned. We cannot live with this type of a lie or of this kind of a view of life. I've kind of coined a new term. It's called, see if I can remember what it was now, lethalism. Lethalism is a term that is becoming a political approach to the solution of complex problems, and abortion was the first lethalistic approach to doing that. Instead of solving the problems or difficulties that these women were having or these families were having, they ignored that. They mentioned a little bit about it, but they didn't do anything about it. And neither has, incidentally, the American College of OBGYN. I don't know a training ground in the United States that trains young doctors how to approach this question of abortion in a way which is positive towards the woman and her family and the baby. So they go to 4 years of advanced postgraduate training, and they get nothing. So the woman comes in and she says, I want an abortion. And she says, okay, where do you want to go? And it's a really sad situation. We all probably think our doctors know how to do this, but they don't even know how to begin to do it. And it's pretty tragic.
What I liked about your book, Dr. Hilgers, is that you end by saying we need to do better for women. That it wasn't one of condemnation against women who maybe are under pressure, or they don't understand the situation, or don't know any better, or later regret it. But you said we need to do better as a culture and build them up and offer them real help, something that they aren't going to regret later or isn't necessarily going to complicate their life, but we're going to help them with the situation that they found themselves in. And now then you have the opposite side of things where couples are trying to have babies. So we just, in the few minutes we have left, tell us, what is NAPRO and how are you helping couples to have children?
Well, the term NAPRO technology stands for natural procreative technology, and it involves really a new science that involves trying to find out what the underlying causes are to these conditions that women have who experience miscarriages or experience problems with getting pregnant, infertility, those kinds of things. And it's very, very successful. And it's amazing to us even, we've developed an international reputation for this effort. And I'm in the process of writing the second edition of our medical textbook on this. And So hopefully that'll be out. It'll be a couple years yet because it's a big book.
And where can people go to find out more about this? Should they go to the Pope Paul the
Yeah, if you go to
Sixth.com?
technically it's the St. Paul VI Institute now. Pope Paul VI was canonized a few years ago, and we were able to change the name of our institute, which we founded based on Humanae Vitae, which is the encyclical letter that Paul VI wrote. It's a magnificent encyclical letter. Most people have trashed it and done a lot of damage to it, unfortunately. But he wrote a lot of other stuff too, along with John Paul II and Pope Benedict. So it's a tremendous work, and I mean, I'm a little biased having been involved in it. I never set out to do this, actually. All I was trying to do was develop a natural method of family planning for people who would like to use that.
And you help couples regardless of denomination, right?
Yes.
Right, I just want to make that clear.
75% of the people come to us, as you'd imagine, are Catholic, but 25% are of all different backgrounds. And we don't discriminate against anybody for what they're doing or what they're coming for. We have a team of doctors now, and I mean, it's really quite incredible how this work is involved.
Do you basically then mainly work with the women, or is it you work with the men and the women depending on what the issues are?
Yeah, infertility is a couple's problem, and so we'll find out where the problems are. But most of the medical issues that we deal with are in women, and they're very correctable. We've known this also for a long time before IVF, in vitro fertilization, but as soon as in vitro came along, they abandoned looking for the problem. And so we've lost 45 years of really good research.
Right, and it makes more sense to solve the problem. Thank you, Dr. Hilgers, for joining us. We were out of time, I'm sorry to say, but I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people going to that website and buying your book too, I hope. So thank you for joining us.
That's at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
All right. Well, thank you. We will be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Back.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Rush hour traffic in North Dakota is almost unheard of, though.
I'm speechless. It's something you just don't see around here, especially at this hour of the day.
Brian, can you say anything from your perspective?
Guys, I can. All of this traffic is because some doofus drove off the road.
Doofus? Well, let's hope you can help him out of there. No. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right, great job.
Yeah, that went very well.
The professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. And I'm going to put up that little announcement I said I would bring back in case you didn't have a pen the first time. For anybody who wants to take these classes on healing, if you're post-abortive, here's the information, there's the phone number. Because I don't want anyone to feel that this show wasn't for them, that this really is for everybody. It's a situation that we as a culture are all dealing with one way or another. Okay, so we really appreciate having had Dr. Hilders on. We're going to switch gears here. First of all, I want to remind you, if you want to connect with us on social media, you can find us everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, email us at anotherview@beck.news. We'd love to hear from you. And we're on Facebook, Ladies of Another View. There's a lot of conversations that go on there, so join us for the fun. And we'd like to hear what you have to say. So we're going to talk about what do you love to do? And we're all going to go through and just share some of our favorite things. So I'll go quickly and then toss it off to you guys. We have photos that go with it. So I like to cross-country ski. And when we have little kids, you can't just take off. So here's our oldest kids. This was many years ago at Sertoma Park.
And that's you, Patty?
That's me.
That's Patty.
And so Mark and I he was skiing, and then I would watch the kids. It was a nice day, obviously, which we have sometimes in North Dakota.
A wood panel station wagon. It doesn't get any better than a wood panel station wagon.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
We were a station wagon family for sure. The air conditioning didn't work.
And not a
in the
seatbelt
summer.
in sight.
Yeah, I don't think there was back then. But so we would take turns skiing. And nowadays, when I ski, if you can move forward to the other pictures, nowadays, and here's my family. That's my other favorite thing, is to spend time with our family. I talk about having a big family. Well, there it is. And we are, we adopted a couple boys from Kenya, and it's just a big mix and a lot of fun. Whenever we get together. And then this is what I look like when I ski these days. I always tell people, get out. I don't care how cold it is. I'm cold all the time, but I know how to dress warmly. So you won't recognize me if you go by me.
I will say it does help to live by a golf course, though, Patty. That's
yes.
Right.
Yes. I just go right outside my door, and there it is. So
Well,
that's cool.
I'm totally impressed you find gloves and boots that are warm, because I've never.
Layers. How do you
layer your boots, though?
Socks.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that your coat was
I've tried
electric?
that too. But yeah.
Yeah, my husband bought me an electric coat. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Oh my gosh.
So take it away, Carmen.
Neon.
What do you love to do?
What do I love to do? Well, I was thinking about that, and I thought, I treasure my alone time. I really do. I love to look out my windows and just stare at the view and just let my mind wander. I also like to be a grandma, and I also believe that I love to stick up for my family when it's warranted. So I just thought I like to find the sarcastic humor in things, and we love to travel. And this is from Hawaii, I believe. We had just a beautiful area we could just go and sit and watch the sunrise, and it was great. And camping with the kids and the grandkids, there's nothing better. Lots of fun. They have so much fun, all the little cousins getting together. And
is that in North Dakota?
No, that was, that one was in Minnesota, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to think back.
All right.
Oh, I think I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. They say, do what you love and the money will follow. I like glass art. Obviously, I have a glass company with my husband, and even though they do the commercial part, I get to do what the guys call the foo-foo part. And I couldn't pick one thing, but I do mosaics. So the things at the bottom of the screen are mosaics, the animals and this winter scene through spring. I've done things for churches on the upper right. You'll find the top 2 in St. Anne's Rectory, and the bottom one is for a Lutheran church in Mandan. And I did some commercial work at Broadway Grill and Tavern. So if you stop by there, you can see some of the work. But this is what I love most, and that's spending time with my grandkids. And I'm going to get shot because that's not the right picture. There it is.
That's adorable. I love that.
And who wouldn't just want an armful of yumminess like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess I'm next. Kind of a jack of all trades. I like to make jewelry, and so the necklace that I have on, I actually made.
Yeah.
So I don't wear it a lot here because I guess it gets kind of noisy. And these are some of the earrings that I make. I love to work with natural, like turquoise and red coral and sterling silver. And I've gone to a few trade shows with that. But that and spending time with my family. We have the 4 kids. We never pick out a tree unless we're all together. You know, now I have 3 kids in college. But it's just fun to kind of get together and do as much as we can. That was one of the trade shows I was at, selling things. And I collect antlers. I love to collect antlers, which we need an antler in this basket out front here. But anyway, that's just kind of, there's the family, there's my husband and the kids. That was about not this past summer, the summer before. We're trying to afford better pants with the holes there. But, so anyway, that's what I got.
I always tell my kids I will not spend money on holes.
So
we used to
that's
patch
us.
those. Yeah.
That's us.
And
Yep.
real quickly, look at this pen that Carmen has. It's
this is a veteran that lives
veteran made
in
that
Mandan.
in Mandan, and we're hopefully going to have him on the show. Isn't it beautiful? But we have to go. We have to run. So join us tomorrow with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you can. We're available.
Yep.
And we
That's right.
even have a new phone number now.
And we welcome your feedback.
We do. We want it all.
You bet.